Our last speaker is Mark Cusney, and he is our lead technologist for support equipment and aircraft launch and recovery equipment.
My name is Mark Cusney, and I'm with, I do aircraft launch and recovery equipment and support equipment. So how I differ from all these guys are I don't do aircraft. I'm the things on the ship that support the aircraft. So catapults, arresting gear. You know, I launch 40,000-pound aircraft in 3 seconds and 300 feet and recover them as well. But also all the support equipment, so the tow tractors, the avionics test equipment, everything that tests and fixes aircraft are things that I do as well. So I'd echo what Jim said. We love you guys. We have some great work in small businesses, and I'd encourage you. I'm here all afternoon. I drove up from New Jersey to be with you, so I really look forward to talking with you if you have a connection in some of our areas. So with that, I've got 5 SBIR topics that are in the current solicitation. The first one, believe it or not, sailors are not very kind to our equipment. And so we have workstations on the flight deck with buttons that, for instance, the LSOs, the landing signal officers, will take a switch and just bang buttons with it instead of just pushing the button. And so they tend to break things. And so we've been reading about touch screens that provide haptic feedback, and we think that would be a great thing for some of the systems that are on our flight deck. And oh, by the way, these guys are wearing gloves, and you're outside in 50-knot wind over deck, and so it needs to be ruggedized. So if you guys can come up with ruggedized touchscreens with haptic feedback, we'd love to buy lots of them. So we've got 2 major acquisitions in the launch and recovery world. One, and you may have heard of them, one is the electromagnetic catapult. And so, you know, we've been doing steam catapults for the last 50 years. This is a completely brand new system. And the other is the advanced arresting gear. And that's a completely brand new system from 50 years as well. So we've had these 2 major acquisitions. They were installed aboard the Gerald R. Ford, the CVN 78. That's getting ready. Actually, it has been to sea in quick ship trials, and we're getting ready to launch aircraft off of this new carrier. So it's a pretty heady time for us. And one of the systems is this advanced arresting gear. It has something called a water twister, which is a 5-foot diameter big steel drum, and most of the aircraft energy gets absorbed into this. So it's a steel drum that's filled with water, and rotors rotate in this water, and water turns to heat and absorbs all the kinetic energy. It's a pretty simple system, but absorbs 70 to 80% of the recovering energy. Well, we've had some failures, some cracking in the system, and so we're actually taking the design from the prime and doing a redesign in-house at NAVAIR. And so what we're looking for is some sort of portable tester that the sailor could take out and see if there's any cracks inside the water twister. And oh, by the way, you can't put a sensor inside the water twister, so you need to be able to read through an inch-thick steel. There are 10 ports around it that you may be able to put a sensor inside, but we really need to be able to tell what our structural integrity is inside this system. So that's a neat science project for one of you guys. Okay, so we have the system, aircraft, the pilots that recover aboard carriers. When they come out of the Marshall stack and go into approach, they're about 20 miles out. And one of the first things they see from us is whether they're left or right of lineup. and it's a system called Longrange Lineup. So it's a laser-based system that projects 20 miles out, and it's, never get this right, but it's red, I think, if you're left of lineup, and green if you're right of lineup. And then it has, it modulates at different speeds depending on how far you are. The pilots really love this system because it enables them to get a nice approach, like way further back when they can do something about the approach. We like to be able to trap these aircraft and not have to have them do go around and do it again. This laser system, we have had, it's a lot of obsolescence, but it doesn't seem to work as well in bad weather when you need it most. And so we're looking for lasers that have enough power to be able to burn through the clouds, but are eye safe enough for the pilots. So that's one. All right. There's we've got a system called Horizon Reference System, and aboard air-capable ships, so destroyers, frigates, LCS, ships that land helicopters on helipads. The ships go through, there's a lot of rocking and rolling on these ships, and so we give the pilot a horizon reference, and what it is, it's really simple, like a lot of the stuff we have. It's a very long light bar that compensates for ship motion. And so, especially at night, pilots have a hard time knowing where the horizon is. And so the issue with this system is it's very large, it's mechanical, it's obsolete. And so we're trying to come up with ways, or looking for you guys to come up with ways with how can we project the horizon to the pilot without such a big, expensive, cumbersome system. Right now, LCS doesn't even have this system because there's no space to put it. So, novel ideas like could you project something on the hangar of the ship, project something straight to the pilot. So we're really looking for help on that one. And okay, so one of our, how we trap aircraft aboard carriers, the tailhook grabs the cable, and the cable gets reeved through an arresting gear below decks. We're really interested in a new kind of cable. Aircraft are getting heavier and faster, so we're having to replace the cable far more often now than we have in the past. So we're looking for new materials that could potentially lengthen the service life of the cable. So materials that are flexible. Flexibility is a big issue. And so, can you guys embed different materials into the steel cable that we have to lengthen the service life of the cable? So that's it. And so I encourage you to, if you have any connections in these technology areas, to come see me, or even if you don't, I'd love to talk to you. So thanks so much.